Hare Krishna.
Good morning. Hare Krishna. So we're just going to do our Srimad Bhagavatam reading, and we're in King's Cross, just outside the Google head office.
So you can Google us.
So let's say the invocation. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
It's Canto 2, Chapter 2, Text 4, and the chapter is called The Lord in the Heart. So Text 4. When there are ample earthly flats to lie on, what is the necessity of cots and beds? When one can use his own arms, what is the necessity of a pillow? When one can use the palms of his hands, what is the necessity of varieties of utensils? When there is ample covering or the skins of trees, what is the necessity of clothing? Purport. The necessities of life for the protection and comfort of the body must not be unnecessarily increased. Human energy is spoiled in a vain search after such illusory happiness. Human energy, if one is able to lie down on the floor, then why should one endeavour to get a good bedstead or soft cushions to lie on? If one can rest without any pillow and make use of the soft arms endowed by nature, there is no necessity of searching after a pillow. If we make a study of the general life of the animals, we can see that they have no intelligence for building big houses, furniture and other household paraphernalia, and yet they maintain a healthy life by lying down on the open road. They do not know how to cook or prepare foodstuffs, yet they still live healthy lives more easily than human beings. This does not mean that human civilization should revert to animal life, or that the human being should live naked in the jungle without any culture, education, sense of morality. An intelligent human cannot live the life of an animal. Rather, man should try to utilize his intelligence in arts and science, poetry and philosophy. In such a way, he can further the progressive march of human civilization. But here, the idea given by Srila Sukadeva Swami is that the reserve energy of human life, which is far superior to that of animals, should simply be utilized for self-realization. That's where it stops.
Advancement of human civilization must be towards the goal of establishing our lost relationship with God, which is not possible in any form of life other than the human. One must realize the nullity of the material phenomenon, considering it a passing phantasmagoria, and must endeavor to make a solution to the miseries of life. Self-complacence with a polished type of animal civilization geared to sense gratification is delusion, and such a civilization is not worthy of the name, means not worthy of the name civilization. In pursuit of such false activities, a human being is in the clutches of Maya, or illusion. Great sages and saints in the days of yore were not living in palatial buildings furnished with good furniture and so-called amenities of life. They used to live in huts and groves and sit on the flat ground, and yet they have left immense treasures of high knowledge with all perfection. Srila Rupa Goswami and Sri Sanatana Goswami were high-ranking ministers of state, but they were able to leave behind them the immense writings. See?
Wow, there's a little visitor.
Little pigeon come to hear Bhagavatam. Or eat, but at least it's going to eat the Bhagavatam. leave behind the immense writings on transcendental knowledge, while residing only for one night under one tree. They did not live even 2 nights under the same tree, and what to speak of well-furnished rooms with modern amenities. And still they were able to give us important literatures of self-realization. So-called comforts of life are not actually helpful for progressive civilization. Rather, they are detrimental to such progressive life. Is that it?
In the system of, it could be a demigod or anything, because we hear that in the Bhagavatam. Great personalities come, he's come to listen.
Yeah, I want to move the camera to look at it, but it's hard.
No, because he'll fly away, leave him. In the system of Sanatan Dharma, with 4 divisions of social life and 4 orders of progressive realization, there are ample opportunities and sufficient directions for a happy termination of the progressive life, and the sincere followers are advised therein to accept a voluntary life of renunciation in order to achieve the desired goal of life. If one is not accustomed to abiding by the life of renunciation and self-abnegation from the beginning, one should try to get into the habit at a later stage of life, as recommended by Srila Sukadeva Goswami. That will help one to achieve the desired success.
Yeah, it's interesting. Srila Prabhupada seems to be stressing on a more simple way of living and renunciation in order to stay focused on contribution to the goal of life, which is cultivation of our Krishna consciousness, or developing our relationship with God, as opposed to being absorbed in collecting things or developing opulence and things like that, which can distract us. At the same time, we know that some of the greatest personalities, also in connection with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and in Krishna's Leela, many people were actually quite well off, so like that. But the main point is, I guess, that it can be a distraction to try to get caught up in, all of these things. What do you think?
I think also, regardless of like it's saying the social ashram, the varna and ashram, we have to cultivate the heart. So like you said, there's Chaitanya Charitamrita, there's people that are very well off in high position and kings and that, but they exhibited far more devotion than the person who wore torn cloth on the street. It was like a pretender. So some people might think, I'll be more Krishna conscious because I go and live on a farm or rural project, whatever, but you still take the complications of the heart. And at the end of the day, the process is simple and you can do that anywhere.
Very nice point. Okay, so we'll read on, text number 5. Are there no torn cloths lying on the common road? Do the trees which exist for maintaining others no longer give alms and charity? Do the rivers being dried up no longer supply water to the thirsty? Are the caves of the mountains now closed, or above all, does the Almighty Lord not protect the fully surrendered souls? Why then do the learned sages go to flatter those who are intoxicated by hard-earned wealth? Purport. The renounced order of life is never meant for begging or living at the cost of others as a parasite. According to the dictionary, a parasite is a sycophant who lives at the cost of society without making any contribution to that society. Interesting. The renounced order is meant for contributing something substantial to society and not depending on the earnings of the householders. On the contrary, acceptance of alms from the householders by the bona fide mendicant is an opportunity afforded by the saint for the tangible benefit of the donor. In the Sanatana Dharma institution, alms giving to the mendicant is part of a householder's duty, and it is advised in the scriptures that the householders should treat the mendicants as their family, children, and should as their family children and should provide them with food, clothing, etc., without being asked. Pseudo-mendicants, therefore, should not take advantage of the charitable disposition of the faithful householders. The first duty of a person in the renounced order of life is to contribute some literary work for the benefit of the human being in order to give him realized direction towards self-realization. Is that it?
Amongst the other duties in the renounced order of life of Srila Sanatana, Srila Rupa, and the other Goswamis of Vrindavan, the foremost duty discharged by them was to hold learned discourses amongst themselves at Seva Kunj, Vrindavan, the spot where Sri Radha Damodar temple was established by Srila Jiva Goswami, and where the actual Samadhi tombs of Srila Rupa Goswami and Srila Jiva Goswami are laid. For the benefit of all in human society, they left behind them immense literatures of transcendental importance. Similarly, all the acharyas who voluntarily accept the renounced order of life aimed at benefiting human society and not at living a comfortable or irresponsible life at the cost of others. However, those who cannot give any contribution should not go to the householders for food. For such mendicants, asking bread from the householders are an insult to the highest order. Sukadeva Goswami gave this warning, especially for those mendicants who adopt this line of profession to solve the economic problems. Such mendicants are in abundance in the age of Kali. You got it?
Yeah. Well, it's starting to rain. How are you feeling about that? The book is going to get wet. Yeah? Should we stop?
Oh, okay. What a shame.
So this will be a short reading session. Sorry about
it's starting to rain now.
But it's starting to rain. It's kind of autumn in England, and our little friend here. We're going to try to show you our little friend who joined us. Hopefully he won't run away or move a little bit, but he's definitely looking like he's getting started. He's kind of running off now, but he sat here for the whole reading that we did. So.
Yeah, his talk's over, so he's gone.
Yeah, it's like that. So. Anyway,
All right,
thank you very much.
It's raining, man.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
All glories to Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam.
Hari Bol.